Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be going over one of my students' games that the focal point of this game is that there's a huge, and when I mean huge I mean a really big whole board fight. It stretches from one side of the board all the way to the other side. So it's pretty intense. So I suppose things to take note of in this review are proper fighting techniques, when to sacrifice stones, and when you should even invade, because sometimes it's good to invade, sometimes you don't need to invade. So let's take a look at it. I am white, my student is black. Again, normally I would not approach immediately. I would just take the empty corner here, but trying to get my student to see a bunch of different openings, so I thought I'd try it. And since we've played a lot of games, sometimes the openings can get very similar, so I gotta keep him on his toes. So again, I would normally not do an opening like this, but can't say it's bad. Plays a diagonal, I defend, and then after this, he actually plays kind of an old style fuseki. Like nowadays, it's pretty much, this is the only joseki you see. Right, something like this. And again, this would seem pretty normal. Black takes a point in the corner, white takes some influence in the center, and potentially some points on the top, and the game would go on. Maybe black didn't like this because he was worried about white playing a move like this, leaving a little bit bigger space for an invasion later. But what this move is setting up is if black ignores, white can look at the shape point in the upper left, which means these stones in the upper left are left floating. Conversely, white could also just dive into the corner, and you can see it's not like it's game ending, but it would definitely put white in a positional advantage, I think. If white can already at move, like, what is this, 10 or 15, already have black have a floating group. And you can see to defend the upper left, it's not super clear. Like if black just extends normally, even if white just jumps, white got a bigger extension than he's supposed to in this joseki, and black gets a shorter extension than he should in the upper left joseki. And black really doesn't want to kick because it really helps strengthen these two stones, and it doesn't protect this weakness still. Like white could still go here and put a lot of pressure on black. So maybe that's why black didn't choose this one. Because white can extend a little bit further in this upper right joseki. So pincers here, and we just do a very kind of old-fashioned joseki. By old-fashioned I mean a few years, but that's what AI did. It accelerated Go in a very short amount of time. If you don't know this joseki, I guess you should study it up. There's one key thing I want to mention about this joseki. So the joseki finishes here, but there is actually a big move in the corner for both players. White going here, and black being able to go here. Both pretty big moves, but black going here is a prime example of aji keshi, because it forces white to go here. Now, what is the aji that black has destroyed? Well, while the R16 stone is on the board, black can cut here because it's an Atari. So white either needs to take or fix, but then black can extend out. So there's this cut here that exists while R16 is on the board. But by going here, even though it's a big move, it's considered aji keshi, because notice now, when black cuts, white can just capture the stone. So prime example of aji keshi here in the corner is you don't drop down here until the outside is resolved or it gets into endgame, those sort of things. But that's kind of, the joseki itself isn't that complex. White gets sente, black definitely gets more points though. And with black's upper area, this is definitely, I think both players are happy. Both players are definitely happy. So right now the game is pretty even. Approach. White approaches. Black backs off. And then white fixes or protects the corner. So again, pretty even so far. And then black plays here. White protects the corner. Black extends up. White protects the corner. And then black extends 2. Now, I'm not really sure why he extended 2 here. Because usually you just extend 3. Yeah. You have 2. 2 stones on the 3rd line. You can extend 3. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I'd rather if he went here, then he... No, that doesn't even make sense. So, yeah, just... If you're going to play this Josek, you have to extend 3. Even though white gets this kind of move, if you can kick and then just jump, it's perfectly fine. White can't really invade yet. Because, one, this sort of invasion actually isn't good. Because you can still just connect underneath. But even still, black can just switch directions and extend once more. So white really needs this move first to put any sort of pressure on the lower right group. Or any real pressure, I should say. So, yeah, I don't know why he went here. Yeah, this is just the standard move. This is just too cramped. And so my next move, so I was like, okay, well, if I extend here, maybe black wouldn't do this, but black will be able to get this attached underneath and pretty much settle his group in probably Sente. Because this cut's pretty big. If I protect, he could maybe even cut, or kick, I mean. And he gets Sente, he lived in my bottom area, and he gets to protect his lower left. So I didn't want him to very easily live with this group. So that's why in the game I chose a move that I've actually seen a couple times. Not in this exact scenario, but a move that I've seen in games before. And it's actually an extension along the second line. So what is the purpose of this move? So if we compare it to this move, which would be the standard move, going here, if black wants to protect his group, he would have to go here, right? And then I can stand up. But now his shape is a little more cramped. He doesn't have as much eye space. And if we change the order of moves, it would be as if when I went here, as opposed to attaching underneath, it would like he would kick here, which is not a good move. But also, if he comes on top, Hane, extend, and then come up, this move is really taking out black's base because black really cannot block because this cut is way too severe. So if black, and it's very awkward for black to fix because if black fixes, well then I can just keep pushing. And I'm taking up black's base while I'm getting, to be fair, second line territory, but it is solidifying my group on the bottom. Whereas, again, if you keep in mind, if I go here, I showed black can just live easily by going here, but if black just jumps, there's still a weakness here. So white's not perfectly alive on the bottom. So by going here, it's kind of less inviting for black to try to split this group. But yeah, this sort of move is very awkward for black to answer locally, which is why in the game I think I really like black's answer. Black just says, okay, I'll just play on the other side. And then I jump. And another good thing about this move, as opposed to this move, is when I go here and black does something else, I don't have a really good answer to try to take up black space on the inside. Like, this move looks like the key spot, but black can just block. And even if I can, even if I can save this stone, because black got M2, that means a move like this is much more severe. Or even black can make an I here if he needs to. But by going here, notice Now, especially after I jump, which is why I did, this move does a lot more. Let's just say back does something, I don't know, jump. This move later will have a lot more effect because after I connect, black doesn't have any forcing moves on the bottom group, nor can black really attack the bottom group. So yeah, that's kind of why I chose this move. I think it's a pretty good move in this case. I can't really see many downsides, or at least not as many downsides as this move. Because I actually will get into a little discussion later in the game about the pros and cons of moves. But so this move I'm pretty proud of. So always look, again, just think outside the box. The key thing here is if I go here, black can attach here if he wants to. So I will not let him attach there. So I played the exact move I don't want him to play. So yeah, black jumps. And then I jump to properly fix and to put pressure on this group. And then black goes here. So I'm guessing what he wanted me to do was just extend up, and then he could maybe jump, reduce the right side while getting out to the center. But white has a pretty, because white is so solid in the corner, white doesn't need to play this solidly. So in the game, I just attach directly. And you can see if black hanes, I can cut. And this is going to be a very hard fight for black. Because white's already alive in the corner. So white only has to worry about this 06 stone, which has plenty of room to run out. But black has two groups, the group at Q7 and the group at M3, that he needs to worry about. So it's going to be pretty difficult for black for this fight. Now, if I go here, you might be thinking, well, when you go here, he'll just cut through your whole group, and how is that good? If I played that way, yeah, that'd be good for black, but I can actually play here next. And then if black pushes, I can then cut directly. And again, even if black just takes like this, he would need to answer somehow, and this would be gote. And even if it's not gote, I could really build the right side, and black's really only getting a couple points in the center. And if black plays here, similarly, I can just go here. And it's probably the best bet for black, but the issue is, if black tries to get this move might not be sente. White might just ignore and play on the bottom. So, too aggressive here. If notice, by playing this move first and then playing here, there's a direct weakness, right, between these two stones. So for me to try to split the groups, notice I'm putting pressure on this 05 stone. Whereas, let's say black does something like this, right, and this is I'm playing very simply here to make a point. Black comes out and white keeps protecting. Now when black plays here, notice when white cuts through black, it's not forcing. So if black wanted to reduce white's right side, black should actually play on the other side, unless there's a direct connection. Like, something like this. Now notice black has perfect shape here. It's very hard for white to cleanly cut through this. But when you play like this, notice there's a direct weakness, and your group on the bottom isn't settled. So if black wanted to reduce the right side, he should have played towards the left side. Something like this. And then come back. Because now moves like this aren't forcing anything. Black's already has stones out into the center, right? Whereas if you play the way black played in the game, or just directly do this, you can see black isn't alive on both sides. So direction of play, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. Black wants to reduce the right side, so he should play on the left side. It's kind of just like attacking, honestly. You want to attack something, so you attack something on the other side of the board. Yeah. So by playing here, black should be thinking just to be jumping here with good shape. Yeah, just do something like this. Or even still, black can play moves like this. And if white answers, then come back. Right now, if white tries to play the same exact move, black can just, capture now because black has these stones here. So black just played a little too, I don't know, thinking white would just follow his plan, when of course your opponent's going to try to thwart your ideas. So white attaches, and you can see what happens in the game. White jump, or white pulls back, black extends, and white jumps. And then black cuts, but you can see locally, white has surrounded, for the time being, the right side, and protected the bottom, whereas black, you can see, is still not alive either side, and it's because black was trying to do too much. Black should have just had one plan at a time. Okay, I'll settle my group, and then I'll reduce white's side, as opposed to what he did in the game, which was, I'll settle my group and reduce white's right side. So, efficiency is good and go, but sometimes it's good to just keep things simple as well. Yeah. So now black cuts. So black didn't use the Aji, so black can cut. And then extend. And then jumps. And then I play here. Might be a little slow. I was really just protecting if I just do something like this. Black pushing here. And then Hanang. Because this stone, black actually can just give up now. Right, it's not very big. Black still connected. Not sure the best move now, but basically black is still connected, so black is fine. So I was just getting this move when I can. And black does connect solidly. So yeah, this stone is not important. Black needs to think about being faster. Sure, white can capture one stone, but how big is that one stone? Not very big. Very big. So, again, a fight has died down, and we can see what black and white has gotten. White was able to settle his bottom group and collect a lot of points on the right side, while black still has a weak group. Like, black is still not completely alive. Again, this move here for white still exists for later. And now it's actually even more potent because white has P5. So, yeah. Black definitely got a sour result in this bottom right area. Black did gain something in the upper right, though. But that was kind of away from here. But it's good to mention as well. So I just dive. And I was expecting black to just fix and then come in. And then I would jump. But black does something I was not expecting and invades. Which I don't understand why. So one of the teachers at the Go Congress, again, I learned a lot at the Go Congress, so I keep mentioning them in my videos. He was reviewing one of his students' games, and his student played a somewhat unreasonable move. Like, I would call this the simple move, or even just, going elsewhere. And this, a kind of unreasonable move, and how he phrased it was, how does just playing here lose black the game? Right? How does playing here lose black the game? It doesn't, right? It just keeps the game going. It just the game will just go on and no problems for black. But by going here, this throws the game into chaos. And my student was actually recently called this by another teacher a chaos player. So black is a chaos player. He likes to create chaos. And this is exactly that. There's no reason. Notice, white has spent, so we have this stone here, right, at F3. White spent 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves to protect this area. And it's only worth like 10 points. And remember, I was explaining how this bottom black group is not alive yet. So by going here, black is basically saying, I don't want you to get 10 points on the bottom. And I want to have 3 weak groups, because now, because black hasn't played C3, black's weak in the lower left. This stone is definitely weak, and this black group is weak. So I don't know what drove black to play this kind of move. It's nonsensical. There's no reason to play it. And I kind of let black off the hook a little bit. Like, I played this move, which at the time I'm like, oh, so fancy, you know. If he comes down, I'll come up, right? And he's cut off. But if he comes up, I'll come down and I'm connected. And it does all those things. But this result would be kind of, you know, not too bad for black. Black would connect back. Maybe something like this. And would reduce white. I don't think it changed the result that much, but it let black off the hook a little bit. So white should definitely think to be a little more aggressive here. Something like this. Again, black's not alive in the bottom right, so black really can't refute, or really can't do a lot to attack this. So I gave black a chance to be able to come out, but he even played this variation, which prevents white's connection, but it gets black a move behind in trying to come out. So comes down, white descends now, which is now threatening. And again, right here, black could just simply maybe do this one first, right? Force white to connect, and then something like this, you know? Simple. But black was still like, okay, I gotta cut you off. So I don't know what black's thinking was, but you can't just fight just to fight. You have to take into account the whole board, because when I jump, this jump is cutting off this group, which you can see has very bad shape, and this group, which is not alive. So black is helping me attack this group here. And I bet when he played these moves here, he was not thinking about the negative side effects of jumping here. So but you can really see black is forcing me to cut him. That's all he's doing. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. It's fine by me. So then he comes back. So then after he's weakened this group, or this bottom group, and this group here, he comes back and protects the corner, when he could have just protected the corner to begin with. So yeah, this invasion is so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. Just fix, and if white fixes, you take Sente. If white doesn't fix, it doesn't matter either. White's only taking like 10 points. So yeah, definitely unreasonable. So don't fight just to fight. If you like fighting, and you know that's what you enjoy about Go, then sure, fight all you want. But for my student who's trying to get better, and he's doing a good job at getting better, he really is. I'm seeing improvements, but he needs to really think about when to fight and when not to fight. Comes back, and then I get to play this bamboo joint shape. And he plays this move, which I guess does work, but again, this move, white adding a stone here, weakens this group here, because black might be able to peep on this side later and make an eye in the center. So again, black is just helping white at this point. Hane, stand up, attach. So it might look like there's an obvious weakness, but white would then wedge here. And you can see if black cuts on this side, white would just Atari, and now you can see white's cut off these 3 stones, and now what has black gained? So black needs to double Atari on this side. But notice this would force white to protect on this side. Black needs to fix, and now white can come back and play any sorts of moves, right? So even white would do this first. So black can't peep here. Even though it looks like it, the bottom line is basically this move is Sente. And so white can go here. And this move is white saying, okay, I want to put pressure on the bottom group. So I'm going to play on the other group. So by attaching here, I'm basically giving up an attack in the lower left to attack the center. And again, that's what you want to do when you attack things. You want to lean on the other side to gain strength. Yeah, black extends. And then I can extend up. Black extends, and then I can play at the shape point. Pretty big move. Black needs to fix, and then white jumps. And another point to bring out about this is how much points is black gaining from this attack? Is black gaining any points? No, he's not. So why? He has 0 eyes. And yeah, I don't know why black thought this might be a good idea. Yeah, not sure. And you can see by attaching here, I can Hane. Without this attachment I made, black can cut here. But because I attached, I can Hane. And then black even jumps. So black is protecting the stronger side, which I'm like, okay, I'll just keep attacking your center. So yeah, I don't know why black doesn't just go here and jump or do something. Sure, white might block, but you're already alive in the center. Or in the corner, I mean. So, I don't know. Black, it feels like black really wants to die in the center. Because again, this group in the bottom isn't alive. And this group on the bottom right isn't alive for black. And both of white's groups that black were attacking are basically already alive. So we can see how unsuccessful this attack was. So, again, I've said it once, and I'll probably say it many more times. An only attack, or how should I phrase it? Only attack if the fight is good for you? Yeah. Only attack if you need to. So now I cover. Now black, you can see, is going to struggle to make eyes here. My Hane, play there. Play here. And then play there. So black is barely alive, I'm pretty sure. But again, black gets completely surrounded with 2 points. So you can, and notice white got thickness now in the center. So now when white jumps, it's going to hurt black even more. And this wall here is going to reduce black's upper side. Because I kind of glazed over it earlier. And I should mention it. These moves black played in the upper right are actually very good. These moves here, after this jump, at expanding the upper side. So like at this point, if black wanted to, black could have leaned here and really start to build the upper side. But by playing the way he played in the game, he is really just forcing white to reduce his upper side. So yeah. And I really want to point out the difference in efficiency of shapes. So you can see whose shape is more efficient here. White or black? Definitely white. White has more potential eyes. It's more flexible. Yeah. Jumps. Atari. Again, don't know what that point of that move is. Peep. I will never not get... One of my pet peeves is unnecessary peeping. Like, I don't... Black has a weak group right here that he needs to defend. And yet he plays on the other side of his weak group. And this move is weakening his group here. Like, I don't understand. They're pet peeves, but really I should call them pet peeps. Because, oh man. Yeah, black, why? Later you might want to peep on this side, which is good shape. But here, this stone is completely safe. There's white can attach and do some things like that, but the focal point here is you got to do something about these stones here on the bottom black. So why play on the other side? Why play on the other side? This only helps white. And here again, peep. Sure, if white just connects, sure, it would be a good exchange. You could do something like this now. But of course, white's going to keep you separated. And then you extend again. And you can see white is getting stronger to attack black's stones here. And now he jumps. So how did this move at d10 and how did these peeping moves in the center help black? Look, white just covers and it's just helping white reduce black's top side. Now black plays a good move. I play here though, which, because black can actually cut here. Oops, sorry. If I answer, black can actually cut here, which by itself looks like a strange move because, oh, you can just capture. But black can actually Atari here. And you can see if I connect, black would be able to cut, like so. So that means I have to play a move like this. But then black would be able to run out somehow. I'm not sure what's best, attaching or probably attaching is better. Yeah, attaching is definitely better. White needs to connect, and then black can play something like this. But by playing here, notice I'm threatening to save this O15 stone, but I'm also helping my center stone. So this move is multi-purpose. And black needs to answer, and so he does. And then I play here, knights, large knights, again, just reducing. I know my win condition now. I know it's just reduce black's top, and black has very few points compared to white's. Plus, this move is threatening still to attack the center group. So again, look, black played all these stones in the center here. And how many points did he get from it? 0. So again, attack only when you need to attack. Attack / invade only when you need to do so. Black plays one space jump. And I play here. This is a pretty good move, actually. How should I explain it, I guess? So if I just block... Oops, sorry. If I just block, black would actually be able to cut this. And I'm not completely alive on the bottom nor here. So what I'm basically saying is I'll play, and if I play this kind of move, black will just descend, and I have the same scenario where if I come here, black will be able to cut through. If I play here, black can actually, even if black just connects, again, this would just help black's connection, and I kind of didn't want to have to make this bamboo joint if I didn't have to. So basically, this is, Goblin's Nose. It's the end of 2 stones. And if black cuts like this, I would then be able to Atari this stone here, which would actually help my connection here. So now after this, I'm already connected, so I can play, even if I play a move like this or come back to the top, I'm already connected here. So just squeezing out just every little point I can. And I believe I can also even extend like this. Black comes here, I could switch directions if I wanted to. I don't think this would be so good, but the main idea was after I go here, if black cuts, I'll be able to connect and sente. And if black pushes down, when I hane and connect like this, black has 2 weaknesses now because me connecting at B12 also helps my B10 stone. So if black fixes, I can then cut. And black's going to lose some stones here. So yeah, that's why I played this move. I think it's a pretty good move. Black hanes, and then it does come down. Then I actually do peep. But yeah, he plays here. Because notice there's a lot of weakness here now in black shape. White can wedge and do things like this. Which is very dangerous for black. I don't think it works directly actually, because this move is sente. Atari, take, Atari. Oh, it does work. Because, actually no it doesn't. It barely doesn't work, right? So maybe for the meantime it doesn't work. But you can see how all these peeps black did at D10 and K10 gave white these strong stones here, and black's shape here is very weak. So black goes here. So I guess he was worried about that, but I just pushed through. So, like, at this point, like right here, black should be able to read this peep. And if he doesn't like this peep, he shouldn't play down first. He should play the protecting move first. Right? Because now, when I go here, black would just connect. And I would need to connect back anyways. It's in no world would black push down again and let white push through. So black really needed to read basically, I hate to say it, but basically one move ahead, right? Like he played this move. Once I went here, realized, oh, there's a weakness here. I have to play here. But then it lets me push through anyway. So you always fix your weakness first and then come back to do what you wanted to do. Yeah. If you're going to play here, you have to be able to read this bamboo joint, which means you have to be able to connect. Otherwise, there's no point in playing B13. Oops. The black fixes. I push through. He plays here, which again is not helping his weak stones. I happily just, okay, I'll just cut through your shape. Jumps here. So then I'm able to just cut off these 2 stones anyways. And again, black shape is very not good. Hane, cuts, extend, Tari, and then wedge. So now black gets into some trouble. And you'll see why. He needs to block, and I can cut. And then a Tari needs to answer, or Tari, or wedge here. Right? If threatening to cut here. So no matter what black, if black goes here, white's able to connect. But when I Atari here, notice it's a dual Atari or a double Atari. So black takes, and then I can connect, and then black just extends, and then I connect. So again, black may not have thought about this during the game, but black really did not need to play here. Like, black helped white win the game by playing this invasion. And notice, all black got in return for this group was the area on the top he was probably going to get anyways if he just played there as opposed to invading. So, yeah, at this point, this bottom group is just way too big. Yeah, black tries a few more moves, but this move isn't even Sente. So I just extend down and then Hane. He then comes back here. I think that's a smart choice because I was reading some Aji in the upper left. There's some bad Aji for sure. But it's Gote. I play there. And now he tries to live here, but it's futile. White just takes out the shape point and black resigns at this point in the game, which is definitely understandable. But yeah, black really needs to think about when and when not to invade. Because again, with black's invasion on the bottom, black gave white 2 targets. That's what black did. And white didn't do anything crazy. White just kept black separated on the bottom here. You know, with black's bottom right group and black's bottom group. And again, if black had just gone here, black would be building on the top and just, you know, trying to put the pressure on white. But by invading, he gave white the initiative in the game because, again, black has more weak groups than white does. And white's groups that are weak have better shape. So, yeah, only attack and invade if you need to. Because you can see black could have just gotten the points he got at the end of the game anyways without giving up 40, 50 points. So, yeah, black definitely needs to do something about his reading and foresight as well. Because, yeah, after this is just too big. Yep, too big. And you know, his opening was fine. His opening, if he didn't do anything crazy, we just would have kept going into the middle game. But he decided to do something nonsensical and throw the game into chaos, as the chaos player that he is. But yeah, that's it for this game. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section of the video. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.